America's global war on terror. You heard of this, right? Do you really think it's a global war on Islam?
Well, yes and no. The war on terror leaves the door open. What is terror? Who is the terrorist? Neither Bush or the government or anybody ever stepped up to the plate and said, these are the things that we consider as an act of terror, these are the terrorists. Now, when they do that, they always link it with Islamic terrorism. Okay, wait a minute, time out. What about acts that other people do? That's not terrorism? I used to say, if I leave my house, or you leave your house, and you run over a cat, the news would say, man ran over a cat. Ahmed leaves his house, or Ali leaves his house, runs over the same cat, or the different cat like that, Muslim ran over a cat. And you have analysts saying how Muslims hate animals and how Muslims don't like cats. So all of a sudden, this subject become an issue of Islam. The guy that shot the congressman and killed all these people in Arizona. What church does he go to? Anybody knows? What's his pastor's name? Anybody knows? If his name Muhammad and Ali, his imam will be on the TV, his masjid will be on TV, down with Islam, Quran is the bad thing. Nobody said the Bible made him do that. So when the media focuses on these issues and forget that people are criminals, they have no religion. That does not respond to religion. Now, that said, it doesn't mean that Muslims are innocent and poor little people. We have done a lot of bad things, and we should carry the responsibility. But I'm not going to apologize for bin Laden. Bin Laden apologizes for his acts, or anybody like him apologizes for his acts. The media and certain people in the government and certain people in the American culture expects us to go out. We are sorry for what bin Laden has done. I'm not sorry for what bin Laden. I'm sorry that things like this happen, and I apologize for any criminal act that happened in the name of Islam. But I'm not going to apologize and take the blame myself.
According to the principles of Islam, women have specific gender roles different from men. Agree or disagree?
Oh yes, they do. Women in Islam have different roles. There are two things we have to understand. One thing is that as a person, whether you're male or female, you're still responsible in front of God for all actions equally. God does not care about whether you're a man or a woman. God cares about what you have done in your action. God does not care about if you're tall or short, fat or big, rich or poor, no problem. He gives you certain sets of physical appearances, a certain set of welfare, money, health, whatever. He wants to see what you have done with them. Men and women are still expected to believe the same way, practice the same way, do all what is expected from them equally in every possible way. They are expected to also get education, expected to attend the mosque, expected to do all their responsibilities. However, God assigned different tasks for everybody. She is not like me or like you or like him. She has different physical attributes. She has different emotions. She has different feelings than a man. We cannot take that and say she is below a man and she's not above a man. She has her responsibility. I have my responsibility. In Islam, God has given us basic things. And he said, you as a man, responsible out there to go out and farm and hunt and do the trading and do all the business things and provide for your family. Your wife is not responsible for that. It's your responsibility. You want to marry her, you marry her, but she is not required to do that. That's important thing. She's not required. It's not she's not allowed, she's not required. Now, if she wants to sit at home and raise the kids and take care of the house, fine. If she wants to do that and have a business, fine too. She wants to go to college, great, no problem. She can do whatever she wants in her own time, past her responsibilities, just like I have the responsibility to do whatever I can to provide for my wife. See what I mean? She can do what she needs. It doesn't say she cannot do it. Just like me, I cannot go sit at home and say, honey, go take care of the kids and go get a job and I'm going to watch TV all day long. That's not what God expects from me. God expects from me to go out there and do the work and provide for them. if on the other hand, like I said, if she feels like going and getting a job, starting a business, going getting education, that's her responsibilities, and on her own time, in other words, past her responsibilities, fine, she can do that. Islam never ever said you cannot do that. So roles are different, but expectations are the same. Does that make sense?
Yes. I
Okay.
understand.
Now, there are people that says women are not allowed to leave their homes. No, they're allowed to leave their homes. They'll tell you a woman has to cover. Yes, women have to cover because God expects us that we are responsible for everything that we do. You know, I ask a guy, people, how many times do you see a guy standing in front of a mirror and doing his hair for 15 minutes? How many places do you see that, you know, where they, you know, men's hair, where they sit there and spend hours and hours on it? You don't see that because a man is different. You know, he just brushes his hair, brushes his teeth, and leaves. A woman has certain items that are part of her beauty, part of her responsibility, part of her attractiveness, you know, and God wants that protected, covered, so we don't get into temptations. That's all.
So that's the idea behind the
Hide the cover.
headdress.
Yes, it's called hijab. It means to cover what is considered as some article of beauty.
Okay. Most Muslims do not share the same beliefs of the more radical extremist groups within the Islamic faith.
Oh yeah, that's true. Muslims want simple things in life. You know, the tenets of Islam are very easy and very simple. The Prophet, peace be upon him, asked us and reminded us not to get on the extreme of our religion. Don't get overzealous on religion. Keep it simple. When he was given an option, okay, this is our Prophet, you want to do this thing or this thing? As long as they're both okay, you know, there's nothing wrong with them. He'll tell which one is easiest, or this thing. Okay, we'll do this thing. He did not want to go and make it hard on himself. You know, he even said something. You know, I mean, he said if it wasn't, he asked us to brush our teeth before we go to prayer. He said it's not required, and if it's up to me, him, you know, the Prophet, he would have ordered us to brush our teeth every time we go to the mosque to pray. Every time we stand in prayer, brush our teeth. But he was afraid that it's going to be too hard on us. So he made it simple. Islam is a very, very simple religion. My grandmother, rest her soul, she was, you know, she never went to school or learned to read or write. But, you know, to her, Islam, you know, was very basic. I believe in God, I believe in the Prophet, I do my 5 salahs, I do my fasting, and I'm done. Read some Quran, I can't read it, but I can hear it. I can memorize a few, you know, ayat or chapters and stuff like that. So all that extremism and all that stuff is driven by politics, by power, by these things that are not part of Islam. And people use it. And regardless of religion, everybody uses religion for some reason that it makes their goal achievable. Because there's nothing more motivating to people than their faith or their money. So you threaten either one of them, and it's a good excuse to start a war.
Agree or disagree? I feel comfortable, or you feel comfortable being a Muslim in a predominantly non-Muslim society in America?
Oh yeah, it's not a problem. You know, as I said, I work for the Marines, and you know, we'll be, you know, time of prayer comes in, you know, we just go wash and stand up in you know, at my cube, you know, there and do my prayer. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. People sometimes say, I don't want to wear the hijab, you know, the cloud cover. That's embarrassing. People will be looking at it. Nobody cares. Really, they don't. They see a lot worse. They see people with tattoos head to toe, you know. They see people with things in their body, you know. What's a little covering? When it becomes an issue for a person is when he is not secure about his faith. When you're not secure about your faith, and it doesn't really just be an issue of faith. If you're not secure yourself about who you are, then it doesn't matter whether it's a religion or a speech or just your clothes, you know, the way you style your hair or something like that. You're not secure yourself. You're not comfortable of who you are and what you're supposed to be and what you have achieved. You don't like yourself, then everything becomes uncomfortable. It doesn't matter whether, like I said, your clothes, your hair, your anything. So people make an issue of it. I don't make an issue. I go to work. Anytime I get hired somewhere in my 28 years of work, the first thing I said to my boss when I get hired, I take Fridays 1 hour off to go to the prayer. I will make it up if you require me to. Some companies, they pay your salary as long as you do work, they don't care. Some people, clock watchers, they watch you, well, you're not here, So you make an arrangements the first day you go in. Don't wait until, sneak out of work until you get caught, then you have to explain it. Feel comfortable of who you are and go to your boss. Boss, I do 5 prayers a day, and I do 1 on Friday. I will do my prayers at this time, and I'm going to do on Friday this time. If you want me to make up that time, I'll make it up. If you don't want me to make them up, fine, thank you very much. End the conversation. And 9 out of 10 will say no problem.
What challenges do you think Muslims have in American culture?
We are very adaptable people as far as Muslims. And whether we're born here or immigrated here, our challenges, the main challenges we have is to make sure that we are heard. We're not represented and or marginalized. We have slept for a long time. Muslims have been here for many years, decades, but we really have not participated in the government, whether it's local or state or federal, anything like that. We have kind of been happy with everything. Nothing really bothered us, so we did not bother anybody. All that has changed. And we need to have a more active voice in the community, locally, and more active voice in the state level and in the federal level. And we will hear a lot of resentment, we will hear a lot of complaints, and we will be accused of this and that. So it is a big challenge for us to overcome this obstacle in there. Everybody who came before us faced these problems, regardless of religion, regardless of background or ethnic origin or anything like that. Everybody faced it. And we are facing it now, and we're starting to move forward in that. We just have to be tough, and we have to assert our rights as American citizens, to be represented, to be heard, and not just pushed to the side and as a bunch of nuts and crazies, that cause all the problems in the country.
Would you say it's very important for you to educate American people about your religion?
Yes, it is, and we're not doing enough of it. One of the reasons is that we don't have the resources that are required to do this kind of stuff. I mean, and if you wanted to reach to the radio or to the TV, it can get very expensive. But we are reaching from other ways that are a little bit more easier to approach. Schools like you guys, even on grade school level, junior high level, high school level, that we can educate the people more and more about what Islam is, so they will not just take the first thing that comes on Fox News or something like that and use that as this is the true fact of life. But we have a very, very strong, what they call it, anti-Islamic movement moving, and it seems like everybody is using Islam and Muslims as an excuse for every ailment all these are immigrants coming in and doing all this stuff. It's our fault. Somebody in Oklahoma, they had a vote on whether they should use the Sharia, the Islamic law, that it should be banned from being used. Come on. Oklahoma, millions of people, there's 30,000 Muslims. You can't tell me that the Islamic rule is going to just overcome Oklahomans now? It's just stupid, but it's excuse. It's just something that justifies their bigotry and all that stuff. So we have to face that, and we have to educate people. We have to get out there and speak.